Hello guys. So I'm working on a little demo to use streaming API in Lightning components. Now many of you would have already figured this out how this whole thing works. Typically you would find that streaming API example in Visualforce. So it's pretty straightforward. But what happens is in Visualforce you have access to the session ID. So if you would have worked with using streaming API inside Visualforce, so you have this global variable $user dot get session ID, and then you can make use of stream API. But in Lightning, we do not have any such bindings, and in order to retrieve any kind of data, let alone be a global variable, you have to write an controller. Aura enable method, Apex method should be there, and that would give us the session ID. So that's the stumbling block. Due to that, many people may probably would find it hard to figure it out how to make use of streaming API in Lightning component. So I will now jump into the demo. So here, what I have done is, if you have worked with streaming API, you know that you have to create a push topic. So I've created a push topic on cases, and whenever I make any changes to these fields, and I've subscribed to this field, the status field. So if I make any changes, I would be able to receive that data in my app. So here is my app, and I was working on this. So what I will do is I will split this. I will make two different screens so that we will know in real time. So in the first screen, as you can see, I have the app, and here I'm going to change the notification. Of course, this is a very rudimentary app. It's not like if I change any particular case, so I would know which case has the changes have been made to which case. So I should probably have a case number or case subject something so that I would know that that particular case has been changed. Now what's happening is whenever I change any case, so this would get updated. So let's see that. So if I make it to escalated status, so here you can see the text has changed. So and if I, let's say if I make it new again, so again it should work. So like I said, if I change any field of any of the other cases, like in here, I'm not sure if you're getting my point. So I'm just explaining that. So here are all the cases. I should have some subject or something so that to differentiate. So that's silly, and so that's the thing. Okay, so the demo, I guess it would be that much. So now I will jump into the code section. So this is my Sublime text editor, and it supports Lightning components development. And what I've done is I have created a custom component, and that these are the libraries which are required. So I would be providing all this source code. No need to worry about that, where you would find this library. So before I jump ahead, I would like to tell you why streaming works in Salesforce. Now, streaming API, it's a publisher and subscriber model. It's basically how Salesforce is written. If you would know, Salesforce is written in Java. So that Java stack, it's compatible with that streaming API. There are two versions of streaming API. If you Wikipedia it, you will find it version 2 and 3. So the Salesforce, it supports version 2, and as they have written their app, the full Salesforce app in Java, so they can support that streaming API version 2. So that's how they have changed their backend. You would wonder why suddenly we didn't have streaming API when Salesforce came in 1999, but later on it suddenly it came. So how is it some magic going on? No, absolutely not. They have written their app in Java, so they can support multiple APIs. That's how Salesforce keep evolving. They supported SOAP API, then REST API, Streaming API, Metadata API, Bulk API, all these things. So it keeps getting more and more features. So now the backend is set in Streaming API to version compatibility. So it's there. Now you need a client, a front-end client, to be able to subscribe to that, because it works on a publisher and subscriber model, the streaming API. So the client here is CometD. CometD is a JavaScript library. So it was uh, written by Dojo Foundation, I guess. So that's an open source community out there. So they wrote it. So they wrote it for Java, because there are many open source Java projects. So Dojo Foundation also has written so many other JavaScript libraries also. So what they did is they wrote one for the streaming API as well. So CometD. Now Salesforce also has the same compatibility with streaming API, so we can use the CometD library here as well. That's the thing. That's how this thing works basically. So this is the essential core library, and these are jQuery. This is jQuery library, as you can see. This is my static resource, a zip file. Inside all these JavaScript files are there. I'll be providing you the source code so you can check it out. This is a utility to parse this JSON responses or something, and this is maybe a jQuery wrapper around CometD. So I will show you the controller, how it looks like. Now when these things are loaded, as I said, in Visualforce you have the luxury of accessing the global variables. In Lightning you do not have. So you immediately bootstrap as soon as the libraries are loaded. So you immediately bootstrap the CometD library. So this is the controller, this is the helper. So here I am bootstrapping that. What I am doing is I'm retrieving this. If you would notice, my component has access to a controller, CometD sample aura controller. So which is over here. It returns nothing but the session ID. That's all it does. So here I retrieve that, and I'm able to get it over here. Session ID is just a string. So I pass it to a variable, the Lightning attribute I have set here, the session ID, so that I can reuse it in further calls. So I'm setting that over here, and this is the CometD specific stuff. So here is the URL. So it's a little bit different from Visualforce one. So here it needs is CometD slash the version number. You can have it a variable and place it over somewhere, or here and then reference it here, or whichever works. For simplicity, I just kept it like that. And then this is the same. And here, if you would notice, in Visualforce we would have that $user get session ID just right there. Now, as we are fetching that from the controller, so we have to get it from the attribute which we just set over here. You get the point, right? I'm receiving the session ID, I'm storing that in an attribute, and then I'm reusing that over here. So that's what's happening. And the rest, everything is same, exactly like Visualforce. If you are interested in checking the Visualforce method, how this is implemented, I will be providing you the source code in the description. And I didn't think to make a video on that also, because that's pretty much out there, very common. So in Lightning only streaming API, people would have comparatively hard time. So I thought to make video on this rather than that. So this is the URL, the push topic. If you do not know about push topic, basically it's a linkage between the client and the server. That what I understand. I don't know why the real reason is. I have not even gone through the documentation. So the linkage, it's like a it kind of a placeholder to subscribe to certain kind of record changes. So that's what it does. And now it can subscribe to that push topic. So I have named it case updates. And in my push topic also, the name would be exactly the same. I will be providing the source code, and that would be GitHub URL. And inside that GitHub URL, I will provide a README file, which if you go to the link, you will just find it right there. So in there, I have given a code snippet which you would have to copy and paste in the developer console in order to make this demo work. And then that's it. I'm receiving the message, which would be a JSON payload, JSON response, and it would have a data, and then this is just object reference, and I'm getting till subject and status. So once I receive that, I'm setting that in the subject and status. Of course, I'm showing the status only, and in the component I have both, so I can set both. But here I have I am showing only the status, not the subject. Of course, I can do that also. So if I just go here and then make it a subject, and then save it. And if we go back to our demo, if we let's edit this one. Working, everything doesn't to escalate, so it has to be working. Okay, I have to refresh the component also because we made changes in JavaScript, so that will the UI also should get changed. Closed, and okay, we are working on this. So this is the thing, right? Okay, so where I was, so that's it. Means I'm setting the status over there, and Lightning, it automatically it will refresh. We do not have to refresh. This is the thing about Lightning. In jQuery, you would have to get element by ID and then set text and do all those things. But here you do not have to. Lightning will take care of that as soon as the component is changed. So that's it, guys. Thank you for giving time. And if you find this video interesting, do like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And again, I thank you for watching.